as people are coming in. Let me see. Give me 1 second. Just making sure everything is okay. If you guys can bear with me for the first 30 seconds, you guys always know that this sometimes takes a little bit extra time. Okay, let me see. I think we're almost there. Can you guys hear me well? Can you guys hear me well? Hello? Yeah, I think we are now live. Sorry guys, sorry. There's always this little bit of delay in the beginning. I hope you guys can forgive me. Oh, I see Scott Mason already sent a message. Let's start a private alpha group with you, Southern. Been in the space since 17. Reach out if that interests you. Yeah, man. Oh, and I see that Soldier USA has dropped $20 super chat. So thank you very much for your support. Welcome, guys. Don't forget, drop that like and subscribe. It greatly helps the channel. So thank you very much for your support. Yeah, Scott, answering your question. I basically stay away from private groups or anything that involves membership fees or any of that sort. As you guys know, I always vouch to be different than the other YouTubers, and fortunately, I don't need it to survive. And I've made enough correct predictions that if I wanted, it would be actually quite easy for me to start living off YouTube, but I refuse to do it as a matter of principle and because, well, most importantly, I don't need it. And I've mentioned this many times before, which is it always puzzles me and makes me laugh about how funny that you have these people, right, which are so successful on crypto. They are such good traders, they do everything so well, yet they need your money. Don't you think that's a bit odd? Why do they need your money? Why do they need your $200 for them to reveal their utmost and biggest secrets? Always think twice why that's the case. But in any case, guys, today is a positive day. It's the end of the week. I hope you guys are having a very good week and you have some good plans for the weekend. So let's start. We've had quite the troublesome month, or end of the month, if you will, with all that is happening politically speaking and geopolitically speaking all over the world. Everybody's aware. Now, look, we've been going up and up and up. Stocks, crypto, you name it. And at some point, we were going up, just for the sake of going up. That is called a complacency rally. That means that there's no really good reason for us to keep on going without a break. And people just become, accustomed that the markets just go up. Now, in the real world, you have these pullbacks that put you, a bit on edge. And if you don't know what to look for, this kind of stuff can really destroy you. Now, look, guys, I seriously hope that this will not go or will not delve into bigger issues into the future, because, of course, we need to always operate, assuming some basis of sanity. If you come to me and you say, yeah, we're going to have, whatever you want to call it, I need to be careful with the terms, but everybody's here understanding. One thing, if it happens, would be the third time it happens. One time happened in 1914 and the other time in 1939, and this would be the third time. Obviously, if we go into those kind of scenarios, then all bets are off, because at that point, canned food, shelter, liquor is going to be the most valuable things. But the thing is, and this happens particularly around the crypto halving, there's always something that happens in the crypto halving that leads to a buy the rumor, sell the news event. Now, I've been telling you that in my opinion, we're gonna see a buy the rumor, sell the news with the Bitcoin halving. Now, am I advocating trading this part of the cycle? I don't do it. You guys do whatever you want. It's really up to you. But 2012 was the European debt crisis that was threatening to bankrupt the entirety of Europe. 2016 was the big bad orange man was looking more and more likely to win the election, and we were just coming out of a Chinese crisis. 2020 was what everybody remembers very well, and now 2024 is the fear of escalation of conflicts. So you see, I knew that something was going to happen. Now, don't ask me to predict exactly what's going to be, but it's just so funny that around this period, these kind of things happen. And the reason is there's no big conspiracy theory. It's very simple. We need to boost liquidity into the markets across the board. You see, we live in a debt-based system. And the only way that this system can continue is if we manage to increase debt. But if we increase debt, we start paying higher interest. So we need to find a way to stop paying interest while creating more debt in order for the system to subside. Now, am I saying that this system is fair? Am I saying that this system is nice? Am I saying that this system is what we deserve? No, that's not the point. I'm not here to change the world. I cannot do it. It's not up to me. You see, it's very easy to come here and say that everything is effed up and everything is screwed. Fine, everything is effed up, everything is screwed. Now, how do you personally benefit from it? Now, that's more difficult. That's the key. That's the answer. That is the million-dollar question, if you will. Because to come here and say that everything is bad is very easy to do. Now, why does this show so strongly in crypto? Yeah, because crypto, even though now we have, of course, the ETFs, it's still a very pure business. It's a very pure industry. You see the liquidity cycles very strongly. You see the mentality of investors very strongly. You see everything that you would see in a normal, if you will, cycle without the interference or the higher knowledge of other people. Now, going back to stocks, even though we went down today, which is fine, we are still up almost 5% on the year for the S&P. Now, this needs to be said. A bullish year for the stock market is around 12, 14, 15%. We just came out of one of the best years, the second best year of all time in the Nasdaq last year, and we were on pace to be even better this year. And even now we are up 5%. Basically, you need to understand the S&P returns anywhere between 8 to 10% per year. So we are already half of it within the first 4 months, even after all this drop. So these pullbacks are in the game. Now, what matters is how is the bond market? There was a point where the bond market was getting volatile and very tricky again. Now, as I've mentioned this before, I don't care what people say. The bond market will tell you what the other markets will do. Now, can there be a period where stocks keep going up and the bond market is very volatile? Yes, typically it lasts 2 or 3 days, but then we reverse to the mean. So today we had a big sell-off in stocks, but the bond market seems to be trying to stabilize. That is more important than the Nasdaq being down 2%. But the issue is that people look at the other way around. They look at the stocks directly, start to recover certain things. People get very surprised what is happening, and then they don't understand why that's the case. Once again, there's no big conspiracy theory. It's just how the market works. Oh, sorry, I have some comments here. Based off my tech analysis, I had BTC dropping down to 38, and I've had an average of 5-10% deviation. I see a bunch of leverage at 59.58. I think that people are forgetting about the fact that the insane pump pre-halving has been mostly part of the ETFs. That's true. By the way, this is important to tell. Even when Bitcoin was selling off recently, there was still majority of the days net inflows from the ETFs. Down to low 50s, maybe 40s, where institutions that jump back at lower prices or do think it's completely off. Hey, John. No, thank you very much for your comments. Look, I've checked the previous cycles, so this is important, John. I will answer your question. Based on previous cycles, I've seen Bitcoin having 2012 down 38%, 2016 down 39%, 2020 down 38%. So 38, 39, 38. Now, this year we got to 74,000, and 38% down would be around 45,000. I would see some institutions kind of front running the 45 number, and maybe we have a little week like this until 47, 48, and then we go back up. How long will this take? I don't know, but I do think this is going to happen. Why 48? So I'm looking at the range of 48 to 52k on Bitcoin. So 4852. Can it go to 45? Sure. Will it go below 45? I don't think so. Particularly because the real breakout area was around 48, 49. So if you guys remember, with the ETFs launching, we spiked into 49, came back to 38, which was the breakout area of the ETF. We went straight back up, and actually in this channel, when we hit the ETF at 49, I did a live stream, and I said that we were going to go down now quite substantially on Bitcoin. Nobody believed in me, of course, but there was someone who asked me I don't know if it was you, but somebody asked me, Bitcoin was around 45, 46, and I said, how low will Bitcoin go? And I said, well, it should stop at 38. I was wrong. It stopped at 37,995. So I guess I was wrong by $5. And then you had the real breakout. The second time we go into the range of 48, 49,000, which was the breakout area, the place where we stopped during the ETFs. We then went pretty much from 49.50 into the 60s and 70s. So if you look at 74,000 whatever, and you take out 38%, you end up around 45,000. If you think that some people will front run in and put some buy orders at 48,000 or so, maybe we weak a little bit behind it. I would be confident to say most likely we're going to stop at 48,000. And then probably that will be the last time we will see Bitcoin at 48,000. Now, question, am I shorting Bitcoin? Am I getting out of my positions to get back in? No. Why not? What if I'm wrong? What if we go down to 58 and then we go straight back up? What if we go down to 53, like we have a little week and we just go back up? What if we just go up? Maybe it's going to be the first by the rumor, by the news event of all time. How can I know? So that's why I don't guess. You see, I'm always I'm always paying attention to timing, to time in the future, rather than is it going to take like, and what kind of price levels would I feel comfortable that would be the retracement. Like, no, now for example, when I'm saying 48 to 52k is my biggest expectation, maybe 45, I would see 45 as well. Does that mean that will that take 3 weeks? Will that take a month and a week? Will that take 2 months? Will that take a month and a half? Will it take 2 months and a half? I don't know. But I'm more concerned about the number rather than the exact day and time and position of the moon. Like that part, I don't care so much. And that should be the last time we see Bitcoin probably at the double digits, meaning, double digits, what am I saying? Around 50k, that will be probably the last time. Now, what does it mean for altcoins? As you guys know, I'm much more concerned about altcoins. I have my lottery tickets. Andy is around $125 million on Ethereum. I got in at 1.6, 1.7 million, as you guys know. So that lottery ticket is pretty much paid almost my entire principal. And that's the point of lottery tickets. That's what they're designed to do. Now, typically, altcoins top 12 months to 18 months after the Bitcoin halving. So that would be April 2025. However, I think it's prudent, this is what I'm doing, after around second half of 2024, I'm going to start to study to try to see what can be potential top signals, just the same way that I did for the bottom. Oh, sorry, Scott. Proposing private chat, no place of this community, sharing ideas. No hard feelings if you're not interested. Yeah, Scott, I mean, no, please don't take this the wrong way. It's not. I wasn't suggesting any of that. It's just that I really prefer to have everything out there in the open. You know, I'm a completely honest guy in the sense that I have lottery tickets. One of them rug pulled, another one went really badly. A couple of them are doing average, and one or two of them are doing excellently well. But the point is, the one doing excellent overcomes all the others times 10. That's the point of a lottery ticket that I've been trying to say. But I'm not afraid, because my life is not YouTube. So if I get, now let's say last year I got almost everything right. Let's say this thing I get almost everything wrong. It doesn't really impact me because this is not my life. So I'm not trying to sell people anything. If they don't want to be here, if they think that I'm a complete crazy guy, they are always welcome to leave. I mean, I have no problem with it. So if you guys want me to have a look at something in particular, you can just drop me a comment and I will gladly do it. I don't feel bad about it. So, very clear. Bond market, key. Paying attention to escalations, also very important. In case you guys don't know, conflicts are good for the stock market. Why? Because then 3% inflation no longer matters as long as we are fighting for freedom. Very important. And then the money printing resumes. Now, to be clear, in the short term, of course, conflicts have a negative impact on stocks and risk assets. I'm talking checking 3 months into the future, right? When it comes to the crypto market and short-term sell-offs, I am looking into the future. And let me tell you what I'm looking for. The new supply of Bitcoin will obviously be cut in half. So for the people who are new here and they don't know what the halving means, so every day 900 Bitcoin are being produced, mined. After a few hours from now, it will be 450. Less supply, stable to increasing demand. In theory, price goes up. Now, the ETFs have been net buyers of Bitcoin, with the exception of Grayscale. Now, Grayscale has been dumping Bitcoin like crazy. Most people didn't even notice because the price is still so high. Grayscale has dumped about $16 billion with the B of Bitcoin in 2 months. They've sold way more than half now. I think they've sold something like 60% of all their Bitcoin, which means, so the supply will be cut in half. The selling of Grayscale will go away. The DOJ is also, the US government has also been selling some Bitcoin. That will also go away. So the selling points are getting lower, which is interest, and also extra money will be coming into the market. All of this to me is positive. This matters more to me than will Bitcoin drop an extra $1,000 or not. To me, the big picture is more important. Our city in the States has 24-30 million left over. That's given as a COVID stimulus. This money can be used because of technicalities that come with Fed money. Yeah, I mean, the whole program in the US was complete crazy. I mean, I've also heard about a few stories about, people that were deceased getting money. I mean, all sorts of crazy stuff. The point is, this is where people missed a lot is there's this rumor that the Fed is tightening, has been tightening the past couple of years, and interest rates are very high. Now, interest rates are very high. That part is true. But the tightening, while true, the money supply has been increasing because the government has been spending a lot of money. Has been borrowing a lot of money. So when people talk about money and being, how do they call, restrictive policies, there's two sides of that coin. You have the Fed, which has been restrictive, but you have the Treasury, which has not been restrictive. Now, what's been happening is, on average, the money supply by all central banks in the world has been increasing by around 10% per year. And inflation is around, let's say, 3-4% per year. So that means that your money is losing 14% of its value. Now, this is per year. Now, this is split in two things. This is where people get confused. You have the CPI, the inflation. You go to the supermarket and Coca-Cola costs 20 cents more. You can see it. Your money buys less. The other side is debasement of currency. In the 60s, 2 years of an average salary would buy an average house. Now you need 10 years to buy an average house in the US. That is debasement of currency. Now you don't see it. It has no impact on the price of Coca-Cola or pasta or whatever when you go to the supermarket, but obviously assets is something that you want to buy. And as this money supply is increasing, you need to find an asset that overcomes the debasement of currency on one side and the CPI inflation on the other. Now, the S&P 500 doesn't quite do it, but you get very close. There's actually only two assets who have been outpacing this. Tech stocks and then crypto that outperforms everything else. So that's why my focus is crypto and not so much, let's talk about, ExxonMobil, whatever. I mean, who cares? The reason why crypto goes up so much, there's no big conspiracy about it. It's very simple. Money is coming into the system. Liquidity is coming into the system. And what happens is that money needs to go somewhere. It goes to the bond market. Well, but the bond market is 500 trillion or 600 trillion nowadays. Okay, then it goes to the stock market. Yeah, but the stock market's also 300 trillion. Real estate is around 320 trillion all around the world. Crypto, the entirety of crypto is 2.5 trillion. So what do you think it's easier to move? 2.5 trillion or 300 trillion? 2.5. Moreover, there's a very important distinction. If you have a company which has a stock, because you have a management team, because you have people who are paid, if your stock price goes up too much, what's the incentive of the company? You'll get it, issue more shares. In the case of crypto, if it's decent crypto, the rules are locked from the beginning. Doesn't matter how much interest there is that fixed amount. So that's why things go up a lot. I always give this example because I think it's important for people particularly living in Europe and the US. Why? Because although we have garbage currencies, the euro and the dollar, we still, comparatively speaking to others, we do well. I mean, when I say euro and dollar, I'm talking euro, dollar, pound, Swiss franc, Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, etc. If I ask you how many crypto bear markets have we had? We've had a lot. We have a lot. We have had a few bear markets in the US. But if you're talking about Argentinian pesos, you never had a bear market in Bitcoin. You never had a bear market in Venezuelan Bolivar. You barely had a bear market in Turkish lira. That's the point. It depends on what you're talking about. Because the currencies are always losing value, either debasement, meaning the asset side, or inflation, meaning the consumer price side. That's why these things go up the way they do. That's it. Also, by the way, I think the Hong Kong spot ETF will be very good for Ethereum and Bitcoin. That has come across a little bit outside the radar, but in any case, it's very important. Now, for the last couple of minutes of the stream, Pulse Chain, PulseX, X in particular, have done very well over the past 24 hours. Now, we are approaching the 50-week mark, which is typically for projects of this dimension is when we clean out, rinse out all the weekends, and then we can start moving forward. My view, and I've said this before, these are cycle 2 narratives, some of them cycle 1 coins. Now, cycle 2 narratives, you have exceptions, but typically you no longer have the 1000x, the 10,000x, the 5000x. That is for cycle 1 coins. But you still have a solid, 75, 100x. And that's why I went so heavy in those coins, because I don't need 1000x on my core coins. 50, 75 is good enough. For me, that's the point of the retirement coins. And I do believe that ecosystem is poised to flourish. I think it took some time, but I think it will come. Now, in terms of X, I've always said it, Icosa and Ethereum do even better because they are free leverage on X. That's all they are. Pulse Chain has been working fine. There's been some updates which are coming for PulseX. And I do believe that ecosystem will truly shine. Now, does that mean that I'm telling you to go buy it? No. I mean, you guys do whatever you want. I'm just reporting on what I believe it's going to be the right path for me. And you guys just are here to witness if that's the case, or if I'm going to go and fall flat on my face. Now, I'm very convinced that ecosystem will do so well. And the first, as you guys know, Richard Hart and the projects were targeted by the SEC. They had the first hearing, and basically the SEC was completely destroyed. Now, I hope that the SEC will drop the case. Otherwise, I get the feeling they're going to get annihilated, just like they were on the other cases. But in any case, I think that will also be a good catalyst when the time comes. It has also been proven that Andrew Tate is involved in Pulse Chain. I think he has a position of $150,000 or so. But the point is, all the things that I've been mentioning, why I like those projects, will become apparent. And it will be funny. It will become apparent when the candles are green. So what I mean is this. The projects are what they are. Their characteristics didn't change. Their features didn't change. Nothing about them is different than it was 6 months ago. And nothing will be different 6 months into the future. The narrative will come from the color of the candles. That's it. If the candles are red, everything is a scam, it's finished, project is dead, let's forget about it, move on, big mistake, let's go. If the candles are green, oh my god, this is great because of A, B, C, and D, and E. At the end of the day, it's the same product. Same rules, same everything. What does this apply to? Everything. Bitcoin is the same thing. What is the difference between Bitcoin at 15,000 in October 2022 or 65,000? What's the difference? No difference. Did the supply change? No. Did the rules of Bitcoin change? No. Does Bitcoin got any upgrades? No. Did it got any downgrades? No. What's the difference? In October 22, it was a scam because the candles were red. 2024, Bitcoin is great. Why? Candles green. That's it. When people tell you, oh, I'm here for the technology, no, you're here to become rich. That's it. And it's obvious that you're here for that because as soon as the price goes down enough, all the technological stuff doesn't matter, and everything is bad. If the price goes up enough, then all the technology doesn't matter again, and everything is great. The color of the candles will tell you the narrative of any project. And there's going to be a time, in my view, that Pulse Chain will be one of the most revered projects on the network, and all of a sudden, you're going to start seeing it in many influencers' videos like Joe Perry's and the like. And with that, guys, I'll close the live stream now. It's been a half an hour. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much for the questions. I hope you guys had a nice time. If I forget to address something, don't forget to drop that comment. I always try to read and reply to all of them. Drop that like and subscribe if you haven't done so. As you guys know, never ask you for anything. Thank you very much. Never ask you for money or anything like that. Just have some fun. Let's enjoy the bull market. If we do have this sell-off after the halving, don't panic. Check the charts. 2012, 38%. 2016, 39%. 2020, 38%. Over, on average, 1 month to 1 month and a half. Will we repeat the same thing to the dot? We'll need to check and see. But if we do, don't be alarmed. There's nothing new. And with that, guys, thank you very much. Catch you in the next one. Drop that like and subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow.